OPPO isn't new to the Indian smartphone market, and their new phone isn't exactly a mid-range device, but has been priced like one. The Chinese smartphone company has some of the fantastic and unique type of smartphones to offer with its widest range. These include one of the slimmest devices as well as smartphones with amazing camera capabilities. Hi there, this is Amit from PhoneRadar and you're watching the review of the all-new OPPO Mirror 5, the smartphone which packs a unique shade of spark in the form of prismatic back panel. Even though there are many smartphones focusing on quality these days, we hardly see a smartphone packing such solid and attractive design in this range of smartphones. The earlier company had launched many devices in the mid-range, but this has been made to give a premium feel, and that upmarket quality on the design was felt when we first hold the device. Over the use of week, we developed the usability towards the device, all thanks to the new Color OS 2.1 on the device. So if you think it only got the fancy back panel to rather show off than offering better specifications than it fears, we unfold this in this review. It is not usual for mid-range devices to pack an IR sensor, and that's what OPPO remarkably did into this one, and that's where you get the infrared sensor using which you can manage few of your home appliances. The device weighs heavy for its size at 160 grams, all thanks to the metal frame and the solid body. All the design of Mirror 5 is the USP of the device. You can flaunt the back panel in public. The device comes in two different color options, that's purple and white, and our device which we have here is the purple one. Now let's talk about the display. There's no better way to say this. I hated the display on the Mirror 5. The 5 inches QHD display isn't on par with the current HD standards of the devices which we see from a price range of 6,000 rupees. This is an IPS panel showing 16 million colors as well, but there's no good for media consumption like watching YouTube videos and playing HD videos. The legibility of the device under sunlight and artificial light is not up to the mark, and we think it's because of the extra glass layer on the display, though the color vibrancy and saturation is quite well, and that's why the reading on internet browsing on the device was quite satisfactory. The device does have a LED notification light and it will blink in 3 different conditions. One, if you get any notification, the second when the battery is low, and the third when the device is on charging. You can switch on and off these notification options on the display settings. What Mirror 5 lacks is the resolution. It gains in offering a feature named Eye Protection Display. Turning the feature on will give your eye softness. So there is a plus point for a display with even a QHD screen, and all thanks to the innovating features of OPPO. Talking about the hardware and performance, the device is powered with a 64-bit quad-core Snapdragon 410 chipset which clocks at 1.2 GHz and is decent for your heavy loads. Alongside is the Adreno 306 GPU, offering you the graphics processing unit that can handle large games such as Asphalt 8, GTA, and along with which you have this 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of internal storage, which is a decent combination for the Snapdragon 410 processor. Now that we have touched the gaming part, let's talk about the gameplay. So far we have played a few games like the Riptide GP2, the Dead Trigger 2, and as well as the Asphalt 8, and there was no occasion where we didn't like the gaming experience, and it was pretty handled well. The benchmark score of the device was not over the chart but was decent enough. For the Antutu, it scored around 23,000, while for Vellamo it was around 2100. That was all the good stuff and the performance we talked about, but now let's talk about the negative aspects. The gaming and the continuous usage of the camera application and various services being used on the device, you can feel that the device heats up a lot. During that period, it was not that alarming, but you can always make a note of this. We did the browsing test on the device and the touch response is quite good. The zoom in and zoom out feature worked quite right up to our satisfaction, though in our thoughts a 5 inches display is not an ideal device for web browsing on a phone. Talking about the software, the major change which you see on the device is the OS version, and that's packed under the Color OS out of the box, which is the version 2.1, and it's running on Android Lollipop 5.1.1 version. Overall, there have been some design changes, but the major one which you see here is that there is no app drawer and you can still access the music player with a swipe from the left. With the similar icons and settings, there is not much changed on the new Color OS 2.1. The signature quick settings of the stock Android Lollipop is not used on the device, though the one thing that is quite improved on the device was the snappy performance of the user interface. Moreover, the gesture and motion features are quite similar to what we saw on the Neo 5, which we have reviewed a couple weeks back. Multitasking is also improved on this device, and there is around 1.4 GB free RAM available on the device, and that's a good sign for the UI which manages the RAM allocation very strictly. Overall, the device also comes with 10 GB of internal storage out of the 16 GB total storage, and you don't have to worry about storage space as the device has a microSD card slot which can be used for an expansion. Moreover, the potential buyers of this device would also pleased to know that it also detects the USB OTG drive. Now let's talk about the camera. The Mirror 5 does not pack the 13 megapixel camera which we see at devices at this price point, but it comes with the 8 megapixel camera with an aperture of f2.2 and which is pretty decent for this 8 megapixel camera module. There are not many 8 megapixel camera modules which come with these kind of good captures. The color reproduction and white saturation is brilliant for the camera with this megapixel count, and if you know your way about smartphone photography, then you can do a lot of creative stuff around this. The rear camera is a good daylight snapper, as on bright daylight you would be able to capture sharp captures, and the autofocus on the device is quite fast and effective, as well as the image processing is quick too. Talking about the app usability, it's quite clean like an older ColorOS version, but has been improved from the earlier version. The front camera on the device comes with a 5 megapixel shooter and the selfies came out to be pretty good. Talking about the battery, the device comes with a 2420 mAh of battery, which should be ideal for an Android device at this screen size. But then the device comes with a lower resolution and technically it should be using less battery, and that's what we have experienced. Over the period of 24 hours, the battery did a pretty good job. When we tried some of the graphic intensive games, put it on Wi-Fi continuously, did it make stay awake most of the time even when we are not really using it. Then came the use of social media applications, that's like Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. We used all these devices and still the device came out to have a screen on time of 6 to 7 hours, which is pretty good and overall something satisfactory. Finally, the verdict. For a pricing of 16,000 rupees, it's quite hard to recommend this device, even though there's nothing wrong with it. Well, except the low resolution of the device, the specifications of the device are quite good. Besides, the Snapdragon 410 performance is quite satisfying on Mirror 5 with the ColorOS 2.1, which is based on Android Lollipop. The competition stuff with the likes of Xiaomi Mi 4, the Moto G 3rd generation and Lenovo K3 Note, with all the above devices holding an advantage over the Mirror 5 pricing and specifications, it would be hard for anyone to get to this device over the others. I would suggest you to go with this device only if the pricing is not an important factor to you, and if you're looking for a device with solid, stylish build and moreover a very good battery life. This was the review of the OPPO Mirror 5 smartphone. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and stay subscribed to PhoneRadar for more video reviews. You can also check out PhoneRadar.com for our detailed review of the OPPO Mirror 5, and you can find the link in the description area below. Thank you.